here with the Jay and Will show. First time hosting, but it's gonna have a little bit of it's gonna be some deepness to start off with, and then we'll have a little bit of fun when it comes to the NBA talk. Uh, but let me go ahead and talk about bring in the people that's here with me. The other half of the Jay and Will show. Got my boy Jay.
Fellas, what's going on?
What up?
We got with us today special guest. I've been trying to get him on here a little bit more often. That's Thomas.
Big time.
What's going down with you? What's going down?
And then, of course, we got the Glow Sun production. We got the CEO, the president, the VP, and we got the brainchild behind it. My cousin Relle.
What up, fellas? What up? Ready to get into this?
So got smiles because being able to spend time with y'all, talk with y'all, actually brings up as far as me being able to be happy and spend time with y'all. But when it comes to America, it's craziness. So one of the first things we want to talk about. So one thing that many people I'm sure have heard of is a song called "Strange Fruit." A song by Billie Holiday from the early part of the 1900s. But one thing that many people probably haven't didn't know about it was the fact that it was actually written by a Jewish man that goes by the name of Abel Meeropol. So in 1930, there was a lynching of Black Americans, and this picture struck him as far as just seeing the evils of this country. You had two bodies hanging from a tree. You had all these white people sitting around, pointing at the bodies, and it just hit him emotionally, and that's what had him to start writing about this, about Black bodies hanging from trees. As far as me, I've heard the song hundreds of times, but to know that it was a Jewish person that wrote this actually hit me a little bit different. Growing up in Oak Cliff, going through the military, and where I am now, to be honest, I do not know too many Jewish people. All right, to be honest, I only know one. And I actually just met that Jewish person within the past like 6 weeks. So for this to actually be a Jewish person to get an understanding, and this is he wrote this like prior to the Holocaust, and to get an understanding of what we're going through, it's emotional. I'm not gonna lie, like it hits different because that's what this song is. The public didn't want it. As far as when I say public, I'm saying like the white people didn't want it, the government didn't want it. Talking about Black bodies hanging from trees, everybody knew it was happening, but they didn't want music out about it. So for him to actually take the steps to put it out there, it hit different. It hit different. Do either of you have an understanding of the songs or or have feelings about it?
Wouldn't be the first. Oh, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Like you said, I didn't know it was a Jewish person that wrote it, and just to know that it predates the Holocaust is crazy. But even then, if you think about how other races react to what's going on to Black people. I'm just the Black people, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got people who see Black people or see how Black people being treated, just like, man, this is stupid. Just to be honest with you, it's stupid, man. And so, and just to even then to go further to say, it's plenty of songs, it's plenty of shuck and jive songs that white people enjoyed during that time, right? But once they found out that the translation basically meant, it's slaves, it's Black people, it's Black young men and women, children, whatever, hanging from trees. And it's basically brought awareness to it, that the FBI was like, nah, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how you want to shut it down, right? Over the radio waves, because it really wasn't TV like that back then. It's just radio waves. But you could walk out anywhere and see a colored person, what they would say, hanging from a tree.
Yeah.
But you didn't want it heard, but you just rather
Yeah.
visually seen. So
Yeah.
it kind of
Yeah.
crazy how you double standard that a little bit, because now what you're doing, like I say, you making people aware, and they don't want certain people aware, because when certain people are aware of certain things, right,
Hmm.
we might have to change. Because believe it or
Yeah.
not, a white person, Caucasian or Anglo-Saxon, whatever you want to call it, right? You got some that are strictly for us, some that is in between, and some that are strictly against us.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a person that's in between, that's straddling the fence, and say, you know what, that ain't right. That ain't right. Now we got to bring it to awareness around the world. You see what I'm saying? Around the
Oh yeah.
country, around your city. Once it start going, of course, FBI and government officials gonna do what they're gonna do. But I like I said, I know the song even prior to the movie, kind of the second or third movie that's coming out like on Prime this year or whatever. But just to know that a Jewish person wrote it pre-Holocaust, and then you got the Holocaust and all that good stuff. It's crazy.
Jay, you got something?
I was just gonna say, it's pretty powerful to know that, to be honest with you, because this kind of goes back to what we've been talking about over the past few months in reference to like having allies from other groups understand the struggle that we have been going through for centuries, really, right? And to see back then someone who understood that despite what was considered normal at that time, or despite what was considered acceptable at that time, he had the foresight to be able to recognize that this isn't what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And so to be able to take that and put it into a song that blew up the way it did, coming from someone who's not part of our culture, society, that means a lot, because they saw it back then, and it's cool to see that, but it's also discouraging too, because it's like, there were plenty of people back then who understood that what was happening was wrong, but I don't know if it was out of fear of being ostracized, or putting themselves or their family in jeopardy. They just didn't really do much to try and make things different. So it is cool to see that it was someone that wasn't Black that put it together. And to your point, Will, I don't think I know any Jewish people, like personally. But I know they can relate to us in terms of the plight that we went through, because they went through similar situations, obviously, with the Holocaust and things of that nature. So there's an element of relativity there that I feel like, not to go off topic too much, but I feel like it would be good for us, in current time, to use as an opportunity to kind of bond together. Yeah. And like we talked about before, needing the help of other people from different races and cultures to come together to essentially accomplish what we feel like we essentially want to accomplish. So it's refreshing to know that there was someone who had the foresight back then to put what they saw into words that ended up becoming popular, at least amongst the Black culture. I'm not sure how widespread Strange Fruit is, but we all know the song. We're familiar with the song. People who are young will know that Kanye actually sampled it for one of his songs as well. So if you don't know the original, that's where it's from. But yeah, that's dope that it was someone outside of our culture that did that, and had the boldness to put into musical form for others to consume and be aware
of. Relle, you got something on?
You said, Jay was talking about how you bold enough to put it in a song for people to hear. There's a lot of things put in songs that are, it's like kind of like hidden messages for people to hear of truths that happen in the society today. And I remember what Thomas was saying too about the fact that they didn't want that type of stuff being put out there. Like when we put that type of message in music, or like I said, when the Jewish person puts it in their music, they don't want to hear it. But when you have stuff like the national anthem, who had a verse talking about hanging Black people, that was cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of hypocritical at the same time, but it's disturbing. It's also interesting too, because like Thomas said, Jason, I should say, I didn't have any idea there was a Jewish man that made that, and for him to have made that song before the Holocaust, man, speaks a lot to it. And I remember I also said this before. See him seeing that he saw human beings being hung, not a black person being hung, or human beings.
Yeah.
And as a human being, that's not right. And I've always said that if looking at that does not hit you in a certain way, then you're not human. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with politics. And I know they try to put it in a politic, category. It has nothing to do with politics. It's about basic human rights. And so for someone to see that and speak out on it in a, in a way to where it's like you're not being direct, but you're being in a way to where it's like, okay, I can't talk to you directly, but I'm gonna put it in this way that I know you're gonna hear me, which is in the music. And like I said, a lot of times people put those type of messages in music all the time. And for that person who's not one of us to actually see that, man, that speaks volumes.
Right.
Yeah. And it was like I said, when I heard that where it came from, I was like, this is different. Just knowing that part. And then also touching on what Jay said as far as like other groups. One thing that I'm springing it on y'all. One thing that did pass this week was in the House was an anti-Asian bill. Anti-Asian because there's been all these attacks. You have the former president calling it the China virus, and people that follow him calling it that. And since that point, it has, as far as attacks against Asian Americans, against Asians, has risen. And here they have the bill, but then we don't have an anti-lynching bill.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I don't believe
it. There's no anti-lynching. So and it's just it just shows like how widespread anti-black is. Just that you have lynching that's been happening for all these years, but there's no bill. But then over the past, because the uptick of Asian violence, you have the anti-Asian bill. So I just wish that with them having this bill, this Asian bill, that hopefully they will be able to also bring the anti-lynching bill as well to be able to protect more Black Americans. So this past week, we have the Derek Chauvin trial has come to an end. As far as the verdict,
still right by that, ain't nobody chance to say nothing.
I just wanted to touch it. I just wanted to touch it and keep it going. Touch it and keep it going.
Hey, you're right. We'll be on that all night, bro.
Exactly. I know it. So
good segue.
We had the Derek Chauvin trial. So it hasn't fully come to an end because he hasn't received his sentencing, but we do have the verdict, and he was convicted of all 3 counts. So with this verdict, tell me what came to you as far as your feelings, what ran through y'all minds prior to the verdict and post verdict. Thomas, go ahead, hit this first.
Listen, I'm just telling you the truth. It was no way. I watched it probably the first five days straight. After that, it was so. But I felt like it was no way that he could be found not guilty on any of the charges. I don't think his defense had any proof or anything. I'm actually glad that it took them. Basically, I'll just say a day if I want to say a day to say, and I think they did a day just because they wanted to break. You know what I'm saying? They segued to a long weekend. You know what I'm saying? Because they could have did that thing that Friday. And we done. We done because they already knew. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad, and I'm glad it was every one of those charges. And I hope that when the judge sentences, I don't know if the jury do it, the judge in this particular case, when they do it, they look at the maximum and say, okay, life is not on her, right? And I understand. So y'all know I'm a police officer, right? And so all this stuff just happens, right? Life is not on her because technically he was in the midst of doing his job, answer call. So life is not on her. We get that. 25 to 40, right? For me, I want him to get 25 because if you look at killers right now, they get 25 to life. Most of them get 25, and that's just what they get a lot of times, depending on the severity of the crime. 40. Now, if they want to go, now obviously it's a different state. They got the little girl that's she's a minor, so she watching it, so that could play a part into it, and the assessment of everything that he did. All this, he could definitely get the whole 40. You know what I'm saying? And I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm definitely okay with that because you get the whole 40. I mean, he probably can't get parole until about 15 to 20. I'm definitely okay with that. You know what I'm saying? So, but I thought prosecution did a real good job on it, man. And just like I say, just because I'm a police officer, man, I'll just tell you the truth. Listen, nobody teaches you that. Just to be honest with you, they do teach you use your knee. Your knee is on their shoulder blade, and once they're on the ground, you do turn them over. You not, it's nowhere. Our knee's not on their neck, and I'm disgusted by it. So, but yeah, I'm glad he was convicted of all of this stuff.
All right, Jay.
I don't really have a real feeling on it one way or the other, to be honest. Because even when they found him guilty, it didn't really change anything. Like I wasn't like, you maybe you felt like there'd be like a sense of relief or at least some sort of like happiness or something. I didn't feel none of that. So I mean, I'm obviously glad he got convicted because, like I said, I think we talked about it a little bit last time. I was afraid of what was going to happen if he didn't get found guilty, as far as the uprest that was going to take place. Because it's like the unrest, excuse me. You see how it's on tape. Like I don't know how you would be able to talk your way out of that, considering the fact that it was on tape that he was on this man's neck for almost 10 minutes straight.
Yeah, exactly.
So I felt like this case was a little bit different from like a shooting, because a shooting is like reactionary, like quick type of thing. Whereas this was like you had ample amount of time to get off of his neck, and you refused to do that. So I felt like this should be more definitive. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that he did get convicted. Like both of you said, it's not over yet because we don't know how long he'll be serving the time. And that's another part of it too. I don't know that people have a general idea of how sentencing works, and they may hear that the range is between 15 to 40 or whatever it is, and they be like, oh, he better get 40. And it's like there are so many contributing factors that go into that had previous record, the actual set of circumstances surrounding what happened. Like Tom mentioned, the fact that there was a minor there was recording it, that may add a little bit on there, but it's such a nuanced thing that really is from state to state that you can't really predict it, honestly.
Yeah.
So I just don't want people to have the expectation of him getting the max, and then when he doesn't, being surprised by that. You feel how you want to feel, but just don't feel surprised, because it shouldn't be a surprise. But I don't know how you can really feel super elated or over the moon about this, because the same day that the conviction was announced, somebody got shot by the police. So it's like, or somebody else rather got shot by the police. So it's like, it's hard to feel that sense of relief when it's still a fluid thing where it continues to happen. So that's great that he got convicted. I hope he gets what's coming to him once he's in jail. I know he's in jail now, but I'm talking about
in there.
Yeah. But it happened. That's great that they got convicted. But as far as me feeling like this is the turn of something great, or this is the start of a new America, nah. And quick off topic, but I just read that Amber Garrett's getting her retrial here pretty soon. Which
already?
Yeah. That's how I was about to say. Which who gets it that quickly?
She's appealing.
It's turning around really fast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Anyway, but I just I don't know if there's a reason to feel like there's a celebratory. This is celebratory, but it is good that it did happen, because I was afraid of what was going to happen if for some reason he didn't get found guilty for all 3 counts.
Relle?
Yeah, I think we talked about it before, man. If he didn't get convicted, man, what would it probably look like the LA riots times affinity, man. Well, before the verdict, the evidence looked, like he was going against him. Like Thomas said, he looked like he was gonna be guilty, but we've seen that before. And so I had a feeling like, he's gonna be guilty, but I needed to see that verdict first before I was like, okay, like I said, we've seen this a million times. And the fact that him getting found guilty on all 3 counts, like Jay said, I wasn't out here in the streets, celebrating confetti and fireworks and all that stuff, because I feel like this was something that should have happened. You know what I mean? This is something that it should have happened a long time ago to others who also broke the law in the same way. And so for me, I feel like this is like you betting 1 for $1 million. You know what I mean? There's no reason to celebrate just yet. Like Jay said, there was another murder in the same city right when the bird was going down. So we still have to kind of treat this as if like, we still got some progress we need to make. And, it is right here too, but I guess it goes back to what we were talking about in the first subject, where they were talking about they're passing certain laws for Asians. And it's like, well I don't know, I'm not gonna touch on it. But, we need to start doing something that's going to start holding these people more accountable, start passing the law or something, man, that's going to start holding them accountable too. Because too many of them getting off and too many of us out here dying too. And so, but yeah, as far as like the birth and everything, man, I'm happy. I hope he gets, like Jaden said, I hope he gets the full extent of what he gets or whatever. But I'm not out here celebrating just yet or have a sense of relief yet, because it's just one out of like a million. I mean, so we still have a lot to add on to or to grow or whatever. So hopefully, man, this can be like a wake up call for some type of law or bill or something to get passed. I'm gonna hold my breath on that. Hopefully it does.
So it was a couple things with this. So you had with this Chauvin trial, you had him convicted. It was the first time in Minnesota that a white cop was convicted of killing a Black American, which was a nuance.
Yeah.
And then also, I'm not sure if y'all heard about this. So the DOJ has 2 investigations that's going on in Minneapolis. So the DOJ is investigating the entirety of Minneapolis PD. Because you have all these recent shootings, not just Black Americans getting killed, but also the white lady, the Australian, I think she was Australian, that was killed a few years ago. And then also the DOJ is investigating Chauvin for 2017, where he had his knee on this kid. I think he was a minor. He had it on this kid for like 17 minutes.
I heard about that too. 17 minutes. They said he had another case on him before then. Yeah.
So I think with them investigating this 2017 one, would actually could end up bumping up the amount of time that he gets for what happened with George Floyd. Because to me, it's like if they would have did their job properly as far as the 2017, then George Floyd wouldn't have been killed for what happened last year. So I think it's a good chance that he could get some time for that. And then the higher ups that didn't do their job as far as getting him off the street as well could be punished.
And Jay, Josh, what that remind me of is like we always see these cases where these cops have these incidents like this. They end up getting fired and they go right to another police station, bro. And and like nothing ever happened. And that's what that reminds me of. He had a case in 2017. That's the same case as this one. On different, this guy has to end up dead. Like you said, I could have ended that a long time ago. And it's just like this type of stuff we be talking about, man. When we talk about breaking down the system and rebuilding it, because it was built on white supremacy, man. And nobody's saying anything about it. Nobody doing anything about that, man. It's getting ridiculous. Because we're gonna continue to keep seeing the case, like I said. Somebody else just got shot during the verdict. You know what I mean? We're gonna continue to keep seeing this until some type of law or something is passed to stop this, and there won't be another George Floyd or whoever else.
And the big thing about it is that people have to understand that it's not just white people that support white supremacy. It's other groups of people that support it as well, especially if there's monetary on the side of it, because you have Chicago's mayor who said there's not enough money to track the Chicago police killings, but they spend all this money to pay out to these families. And then you constantly have things coming up that they, as far as police misconduct. So if you actually spend the money to keep track of police misconduct, you can actually save money on having to pay out to the families. But
it's an excuse to keep doing. It's an excuse to keep doing what they want to do, man. So you know what I mean?
And so one thing that you all have been mentioning is that on the same day as for the verdict, there was a police shooting. It happened in Columbus, Ohio. This one was This one is different. Well, I wouldn't say it's different, but it is. It's another situation. I'll just say that it's not different. It's not unique. It's just another Black American. It was a child that was killed. You have a McKay,
Kaya Bryant, I believe.
Micaiah Bryant. Yeah. So it was a situation. It's like her foster home. You had adults kid whole situation. There's been talk that she called the police and she was still getting attacked. She had a knife. She lunged at one of her attackers, and then that's when the cops shot her because they had showed up. It was like 10 seconds, and then they ended up shooting. It was a lot. It was a lot. I'm gonna be honest. I've told you all I no longer watch them. It's can talk about it, but as far as watching, it just feels different. I just can't. I don't have it in me to watch it. It would be like watching lynching, pictures of lynching, videos of lynching. I just don't have it in me to watch them. But how do you all? What do you all know about it and feel about it? Thomas, keep it going with you.
So I watched it. And so I'm gonna give you three aspects coming from a Black person, Black man. First of all, Black person who has a daughter, and then there's a cop. So let me give you all of those. Whether I go through them all at the same time, but I'm gonna give you all of them. So if I just go by as a Black man, as an adult, right? Number one, my opinion, right? I need to make sure for her particular passing, her death, right? I hold those parents and those foster parents accountable, because if you call the police, somebody jumping you, why go back outside your house? Why not wait till the cops get there? Let them beat down your door, go in the bathroom and tell 911 to call, take, hey, they beat down my door. Y'all need to hurry up. So I got to hold those people accountable, because if you watch a video, you got a grown man. I don't know if it's another teenager, another girl. He damn near punted another girl head off that was hitting the ground. Right. And so that's that. I'm gonna segue back into that. Now I got a daughter. She's 13, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I got one of her friends lunging at her with a knife. I'm a cop. Right. I just get to the scene. As soon as I say, hey, what's going on? I have one girl falling on the ground. A dude is about to punt her head off. Right. Mm-hmm. Now, McKay is she's kind of chasing out the girl that hit the ground. The dude kicks her. She goes back and goes towards the lady with the orange or pink or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And by the time the cop look up, it is 10 seconds. By the time he look up, where she get this knife from, she either she got it from a pocket or whatever it was, she pulled this knife out. And when I say she was, Jason, Michael Myers coming out the old girl, that's what she was doing. And so as I look at a parent, do I want the cop to stop that threat of killing my daughter or my loved one? Yeah, because they less than 6 inches away from my loved one's face. Literally. I mean, motion. I'm hacking. This is her hand. Yeah. She's hacking. She's coming there. Now, as you look as a cop, if I turn around, it's a commotion going on. Somebody just fell. You just got kicked in the face. I'm trying to make sure this person's all right on the ground. As soon as I turn around, I do see whoever. Now, mind you, let you know this. Caltech didn't tell him this girl called. They said, hey, it's commotion going on outside. It's a bunch of people say he don't know who Michaela is. Mm-hmm. He don't know. He does not know. Whether it's 1,000 cops there or one cop there, he does not know who that person is. He get there as this commotion. It's a group of people, right, regardless of black and white. Hey, I need y'all to separate because I need to know what's going on. I've been in predicament many a time. I don't care who called police. Y'all need to separate. Right. Because I don't know what's going on. I literally don't. So he gets there. One girl's fall. Do I give aid to her? Or when I look out peripheral, I see you come with a knife. Do I shoot you? Some people say, why don't you tase? What do you tase for? Because when you tase, the person What if Michaela don't feel that taste? What if you miss? What if the prongs don't hit? She still stabbed this person. Okay, well, why don't you shoot a limb? You're not trained to shoot a limb, right? Because if you shoot a limb and it missed because it's a smaller target, right? You shoot a limb and miss, it goes to the car or it hits another person or a ricochet. You got to be accountable for every bullet. So as that cop, right, you got to say, do I stop this threat? Do I stop her from assaulting another person? I say yes. As a parent, do I want this cop to stop this person from killing or assaulting my daughter? I say yes. Yeah. As a Black man, do I want these parents, these grown-ups, to be held accountable? Yes. And I'm gonna tell you the reason why, in my opinion, and when you look at it, you know why some body cams are sent out the same day or the next day? Is you got two reasons. Either the police department is separating themselves from the cop, which Chauvin and them other people, they trying to hurry up, they trying to get away from them, or they want to go ahead and show you, guess what, this is justified. Now, when police departments hold evidence for a long time, they trying to see, they trying to see what's going on. Okay, how can we wiggle?
Right.
No. They gonna send it out fast. We're gonna be with this person. They did the right thing or they did the wrong thing, and we're gonna show you. And that's the same thing with right? With Minnesota. Same thing. They send it, hey, listen here. She said taser, she had a gun. We showed you the next day. This is what happened. And guess what? She was gone. You say she resigned, but she resigned. She resigned in lieu of getting fired. That's all that was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they either showing you, hey, we were with these police officers, or we're showing you we're against them and we don't believe that. So again, for me in Ohio, I look at it three things. I need to hold these adults accountable. Keep your ass in the house. I call the police. Why am I going outside?
Yeah.
Stupid. I'm a parent. I want you to protect my daughter if I can't protect my daughter. 3, I'm a cop. It's a threat. I see you about to stab somebody. I can't shoot you in your finger to make you drop the knife. It's too small of a target. It's too small of a target. So, I mean,
can I ask you a question real quick, Tom?
Yeah.
Because everything you're saying makes sense to me, 1,000%. My only question is, when you do see that threat, like you mentioned, right, where she's attacking the girl or coming at her or whatever, right, you know you need to subdue her to some degree, and taser probably won't do it, or you don't want to risk it not working, right? So you go to the result. Now you shoot her to subdue her. Is the technique to shoot like let's say you shot 2 rounds and you hit her and she falls down or whatever. Is that enough, or because like it almost feels like from the outside
overkill, right? You want to say overkill?
Yeah.
So here go the
4
thing.
of them.
Here go the thing. Listen to this. You look at it in this situation, right? Because it's a child and she's Black, whatever the case may be. If somebody else, how do you know overkill? Because when you get in a stress situation, right? The thing is, there are 1,000 videos that we're trained on where a cop shot one time, he shot somebody in the stomach, he ended up dying. That dude then fought through that one adamant shot and say, you know what, now I'm about to kick this cop ass. So they don't teach you what overkill is. Number one, you know what overkill is? You don't, because when you pull that trigger, right, until your brain say, okay, maybe this is enough, you're not going to stop, because you're trying to eliminate the threat. That's it. Because you put 1, 2, you don't even know you shot twice. That's the thing. You don't even know.
Your adrenaline.
Your adrenaline is going on,
Gotcha.
right? And then, you know what I'm saying? Even in this situation, they say, why you didn't run? Well, they show other situations where a man had a knife, but guess what? A man, he was out there by himself. He wasn't actively attacking anybody, so they use a taser. I get it. But when you watch these videos, right, and I'm just saying the cops, what they show you, or if you being too lenient, or you shooting somebody one time, hell, I done seen a video where a cop unloaded on him. Dude still got up and beat that cop ass and killed him. So you don't know what that is. You don't know what overkill is, because adrenaline, you're pumping. I just see a threat. I can't run up to you. I'm putting myself and everybody else in danger. I can't shoot you with a taser if it don't hit. First of all, if it don't hit you, then it hit this other person. Now I'm helping you get the other person. If I shoot for your arm or hand, if that shit miss, I just wasted 2 bullets and they go down the street and hit little Timmy, and I got to be accountable for that bullet. So
Right.
I can only shoot you in a big body mass part. You know what I'm saying? I can only shoot you in that. And so again, I definitely feel for family. Don't get that twisted because that's what that is. But I my first thing, like I say, is I'm holding these parents accountable. I'm holding these foster care people accountable because you call the cops, keep your ass in the house, man. We don't have none of this right here. But that's just me.
No, I appreciate that perspective because we don't have
me
it.
too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that's why it's like it's look, especially coming from somebody who I know got the best intentions, not that, but also like bad apple. You know what I mean? Like so to have that perspective from somebody who has gone through a training is in the streets and understand the situation. It's helpful because all we see is the tape. And we look at it as like a Monday morning quarterback, and it's like, you should have did this, you should have did that. When it's like, we haven't been in those situations. Now, that's not to excuse everybody, obviously. When these type of things occur, you take case by case. But it's good to have that perspective because we don't know like you came from 3 different directions.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that, ability to do that. So I appreciate the perspective. And I mean, like I said, I agree. There's no reason to disagree with anything you said. It's just unfortunate that I think because of everything else that's happened leading up to this, that it's natural for people to be like, you should have done this or you should have done something different. But this particular case, I can understand from the opposite perspective in terms of, like you said, Tom, eliminating the threat, so that it doesn't end up being worse than what it already is. It's just unfortunate that it happens to be the circumstance that it is, and that it's going to get lumped into all the other ones. So this one is one where it's just kind of hard to, we are as a culture so just mentally worn out by this that it's like, even if you bring up the example that you just brought up, Tom, or the perspective you just brought up, you would get killed by Black people, right? And I know you know but it's because of the overall fatigue of what we have to deal with day after day, month after month, year after year. So taking it on its own as an isolated incident, I completely understand and especially appreciate your perspective of it, why this could be looked at differently from Dante Wright or from, Isaiah Brown or whomever else. The list goes on and on, right?
Right.
So I do appreciate having you on to be able to give that perspective because we wouldn't have it otherwise. But obviously, like I said, it's unfortunate and it's just another name. And it's just kind of like, we were questioning even doing this episode because it's just so frustrating having to talk about this every damn episode, it seems like. But we understand the importance of doing it as well. So I just, again, Tom, I appreciate your perspective, man, because we wouldn't have it otherwise. So I appreciate that.
What you got?
Like Jay said, I echo his sentiments, man. Tom, I'm glad you kind of explained that, man. Because I know, like Jay said, a lot of times we kind of see it and we already have our mind made up. And for me, I don't know anything about the situation. I know of the situation, but I don't know about the situation. So that's why I really didn't comment too much on it. And the way that Thomas explained it, it kind of makes sense because I know Josh is probably going to lead into this. I know LeBron, they kind of made a comment about this. We tweeted about it. But then knowing the situation, like how Thomas explained it, he ended up taking the tweet down. It's because, like Jay said, we heard this happen so many times. So our mind already goes to, what did the cop do? Like, this person probably wasn't doing nothing. He was walking down the street and he shot him or something. Not understanding the full situation. For people out there watching, we want y'all to understand. If a Black person is doing something wrong, we want them to be held accountable. We're not saying that all Black people are innocent in any situation. Right. We want them to be held accountable just like everybody else. But we also want everybody else to be held accountable in the same way that y'all hold us accountable. That's what we're here for. Exactly. And so in this situation, if the girl was in the wrong, like Thomas has said, it played out that way, then okay, it's more understandable. But we also kind of know what other situations where we just got done with a trial of that situation being that way. And so, like I said, it's good that Thomas you're on to kind of let us know what's really going on and kind of explaining that, man, getting the police officer aspect of the whole situation and what goes on through their mind or whatever is going on during that situation. That's a good thing, man, because we don't have enough of that. Because like I said, we're like Jay said, we're like the Monday morning cornerback where we see this and then we're dissecting it afterwards. Now there's a lot of incidents like we see it. Okay, the cop was in the wrong, like the young lady who killed the young man. Actually pulled a taser out, or the Daniel Kevin incident. That those are different. But in this situation here, if it's like what Thomas was saying, then okay, we can look at it a little bit different and not jump on anybody for this situation because it could have, like Thomas said, if the parents didn't do anything, we need to start holding them accountable because that person would still be alive if you had stepped in and did your job. And so that's like I said, it's a whole totally different situation, man.
Right. And let me say this. How do you have your foster child? Just to be honest with you, she called police. That's fine. I don't care. She called police. She's 16, called police. But then allow her to go outside and then attempt to try to fight these people if they're trying to jump her. Keep her in the house. Yeah. Keep her in the house. Why ain't? Because you know what? Let's be honest. If we be honest how we are when it's a crowd in the neighborhood, we all going outside. Yeah. We amped up. Yeah. So we pretty much then told our foster child, come on, let's go out there, we could take her. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So stay, that's pretty much what happened. You know what I'm saying? In lack of better words. I'm not talking about how we lost a life. I'm just saying this is what happened. Nah, you could take them. It's too well, I'm gonna call police. Well, then let me go. You go, listen, everybody I know growing up, you better not lose. You better go down swinging. You see what I'm saying? Don't mean how many it was. Yeah. Because you know what I'm saying? It was literally people there. If they were jumping her, it was the dude. I'm telling you, it's a dude in the video. Damn near, football punting this girl head. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't nothing. Yeah. So I want these parents to be held accountable first, and I want and because I know the situation, and I don't feel their pain, but I know their situation. I know everything that's going on. But we got to look at the root of it. Why are you not in the house if you call police? No gotta go outside. You got to, man. My bad. Y'all go ahead.
I was gonna say real quick, what's kind of scary to me is people who aren't as open-minded to listening to the example that Thomas just put forward in terms of trying to understand the situation that the cop was in. And because they lump everything into the same basket, this will get lumped into the same basket as everything else. And so when we look forward and see that the cop either is indicted or isn't indicted or isn't charged or whatever, we as a mass culture, as a society, are not going to have that open-mindedness to look at the situation and say, oh, well, I can see why he didn't get charged for this, or I can see why he didn't get convicted of this because of X, Y, and Z that Thomas just laid out. All we're going to look at is another cop shot a Black person and got away with it. And so my fear is that having that particular mindset is going to be, because based on what you're saying, Tom, if the law looks at it the same way you do, and why wouldn't they? Because you are a part of that. He's not even convicted because they're going to look at it and say he did his job. Right. So if I'm scared about the fact that people are going to look at it as another cop who got away with murder, and now we about to turn up again. When it's like, if you actually peel the layers back, you can see that there's a reason for the action that took place. Right. So I understand people's frustrations. I just hope that there are enough people, which I know there aren't, but there are enough people who provide the proper perspective to look at it differently and say, okay, yeah, this one is a little bit different. So
listen, that's literally why I wanted to make my example with my daughter, because as a parent, I don't want nothing to happen to my daughter. So forget the cop. You know what I'm saying? Forget the cop part. I don't want nobody stabbing my daughter. If you're gonna fight, you're gonna fight. But you ain't gonna put no damn knife on her. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna put no knife. So and that's why I want, go ahead, cop, do what you got to do. In fact, I don't want you to miss with no shooting in the finger. I don't want you to hit her with the taser.
Take her down.
Take her down because she obviously have a deadly weapon in her hand. and that's coming as a parent.
Right.
So
For me, I heard about it a little bit after the Chauvin trial, and then didn't think much to it. Say, okay, it's another shooting, cop wilding out. And then when I went into work the next morning, that's when I heard more of it. The way that I was introduced more to it was that one of my coworkers was like, "Yeah, it was a this bitch had a knife, and the cop shot her." It was like, from what I understand, it was a kid. Like,
I have a quick
so would
question. I'm
you? So
sorry.
right
I'm
now, you
sorry. I'm
call?
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to stop this. This person who said this phrase,
Mhm.
do you know what her ethnic background is?
He's Hispanic.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So
That's
when he
all.
said that, like that hit me different.
Yeah.
So from what I understand, like, so my introduction was like, so it was a kid, and now it's a kid that was called a bitch,
Mm-hmm.
in the situation was killed by a cop. Was like, so I was in my feelings. I'm not even gonna lie. I was in my feelings with this. I didn't say anything to him at work, but it
Yeah.
was. I told my wife about it. It's like, this is what he brought up, and it's a child. Like, I understand, like what Thomas was saying, as far as the cop not knowing who called and the age of the person with the knife and things like that. But at this point, people know, and what comes out of your mouth is calling this child this.
Yeah.
Like,
That's nuts.
so it that had me in my feelings, and also just knowing, like, the understand what Thomas was saying, cop having to do his job, being able to subdue the person, but then also joining his cop buddies and chanting Blue Lives Matter. Like, that also makes it hard for me to call it a good shoot when you're chanting that, because instead of you doing your job and protecting people, you're just talking about blue lives that don't exist because it's a job.
Yeah, that's
It's
the
not
thing.
blue people walking around.
That's the thing that get me
It's
too with
it's a
that, man,
job.
Josh. It's like you, people who say that, man. It's like you made a choice to be a cop. I didn't make a choice
Yeah,
to be this.
yeah.
You know what I'm
And
saying? So that's
so
the part that gets me.
exactly. So it's just like these different things. So for me, it was I'm not going to. I understand everything Thomas saying from each perspective. It's just a tough one because for me, I just see it as uh, they can get creative to be able to subdue a mass murderer, but they can't get creative to subdue a person with a knife.
You
So,
bring it right.
because I would want it the same way. I have a daughter; she's 11, and if someone came at her with a knife, subdue. Subdue. Like, do what you got to do to subdue. But it just feels a kind of way when you can't be creative to be able to save people and not take a life when you can do the same when it comes to mass murderers. So they just
right.
have me
That's fair.
in my feelings with that part. So
That's
it's
fair.
not going against what you said, Thomas, because I completely
Oh,
understand,
no,
but it just
I
had me in my
agree.
feelings with that.
I
Uh,
agree. I agree.
Moving forward, so with the shooting, so we can touch on this one because it's just so much happening. So we have Isaiah Brown in Virginia. Cop took him home, came back, and then
Damn.
unloaded the clip on him. 10 of them things in them. And somehow Isaiah still breathing. I guess they were saying like it's non life threatening somehow. Like, this is crazy. Uh, it doesn't have to be that much, but which I got on this.
What I got my opinions on what really happened. I mean, if
Go
you seen the
ahead.
guy, I got some opinions on it too. So things
Right,
Yeah.
probably
right.
went down, and he didn't want nobody to know. So I got to end you. You know what I mean? The typical, I don't want nobody to know I'm in the
Gonna add
closet
some
Right.
type
tail.
thing. You know,
Gonna
yeah,
add some
exactly.
tail.
And
Yeah.
so that's my opinion on it. I think something went down. He didn't want nobody to know, so he tried to end him real quick. And then the cop, him shooting a black guy, he can get off
Yeah.
some kind of way. So that's pretty much how I think.
That's real. Thomas?
Man, like I mean, nobody knows what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like
This is a tough one.
we seen a video, but it's nighttime, right?
Yeah.
So let me give you two examples. Nighttime, right? You put up your camera's on, right? But if you know who the assailant is, you turn your spotlight on or you turn your overhead lights on to bring light that way. So if light would have been towards that person, the body cam would have showed exactly, you've been able to clearly see what happened. But you really, the video I seen, it was night. He just yelled, put the gun down, and he shot. But then here go the thing though. The dude said on his radio, oh, he got a gun to his head, I believe. So we don't shoot if you got a gun to your head unless it's non-lethal. And then you got to get a team out unless you got somebody with you to go get the shotgun to get the non-lethal out. So we don't shoot if you got a gun to your head, right? That's not what Texas law. Texas, we don't kill you. You know what I'm saying? Why we now? I'm not saying we won't shoot you. Yeah. Now I'm not saying we
clipping you.
We won't. Yeah. We might shoot you in the hand. Like if you that good of a shot, they're gonna say, hey, shoot him in the hand. Boom, boom. We're gonna go get him, right? But most likely we're going for non-lethal. Beanbag, some boom boom knock you out real fast and then subdue you. But we not unloading the clip if you about to kill yourself. That makes no sense. So again, it was dark. You know what I'm saying? That makes no sense. And I'm just to the radio. Oh, he got a gun to his head. Put the gun down. Even in the radio call, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, we don't know. I don't know. So I don't expect it, but I see what you say, Relle. You see what it looks like. say something could have happened.
I'm just saying,
back.
Yeah.
He got called back. He was like, you know what? He might try to tell some folks.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably what it was. I'm like, I'm gonna tell your wife or something, man. Like,
So I don't know. I don't even know what. But I can't even speculate because I literally don't know. Because there's just no way you don't put your spotlight on somebody and then put like this. When you turn your spotlight on, most time your card in dash come on too. So it just, it's a lot of stuff, that played that we didn't see because it's dark. So then this dude, he might get off because we can't see nothing. We can't see nothing.
Yeah,
we can't see nothing.
Yeah, it is a tough one. Jay, what you got?
I don't have anything to add, and that's only because I have not done any digging into this. I haven't read on it, so I have nothing to add because I don't know enough about it. I don't know enough about it to form an opinion on it, and I don't want to say something that doesn't make sense based off the cases that actually took place. So I don't really have anything to add. I don't have anything to add.
I respect that. It's best to be like that. All right. So moving forward, so we had the Michaela Bryant shooting that happened just after the Chauvin trial. LeBron posted a picture of the cop that shot her and put "Your next" #accountability because the big thing for the Chauvin trial was accountability. It wasn't that this was going to change American history. It was just that this particular cop would be held accountable for what he did. And so shortly afterwards, LeBron took it down, made a post about it. Folks going to trying to use it as far as a negative, use it to build more reason to basically to be racist against Black Americans. So just to keep it simple. So he took it down and was trying to move forward with it. But of course, people did anything but. So what y'all feel, do you think LeBron was right about his post? Do you think he was right about taking it down? He should have kept it up. What y'all think? Start with Thomas.
Hey, I think because of what happened, and because we know a lot of times when a white person to the Black cop is not good. It's not good. So even though it was, he may have spoke to it early in this sense, he did speak, and like you said, you still feel a way about it because it's another Black life, and we know how you could take down any, you could take a cat alive, you could take a python alive. When it comes to us Black people, we got to go. You know what I'm saying? We got to, they saving spiders and whales, but we got to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Right.
We
yeah,
got to
yeah.
go. So I mean, though he may have spoke early on this, right? But you got to understand where he was coming from. And for me, I say leave it up, because why give an explanation? Because he could easily come back and say he could feel how I feel about it. Hey, the parents, I got a daughter too, but he can leave it up. He don't got to justify how he feel in that moment to anybody, whether you right or wrong. If you tweet something because it's social media, if you right or wrong, it don't matter if you right or wrong. If that's how you feel in that moment, right? And guess what? Y'all following his page.
Yeah.
Don't follow his page.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't follow his page. And everything he says, don't take it to heart. You know what I'm saying? Don't take it to heart. That's literally just how he felt at the moment before the facts, and that's fine. After the facts, he could change his mind. But not knowing no facts, just seeing the aunt on TV crying, just seeing everybody saying, "Oh, the cops just shot her for no reason," and then the next day you see the knife in her hand. Now it's a reason. But whatever it is, that's just how he felt at that moment. So I don't think he should have took it down. But that's his social media account. You know what I'm saying? He do what he want to.
Yeah.
It's just me.
Jay?
How long did it take the Raiders to take the "I Can't Breathe" tweet down?
Say it again.
How long did it take the Raiders to take down their "I Can Breathe" tweet?
I don't know how long.
Oh, I didn't think they took it down. They took it down?
Yeah, they took it
It
down.
took over a day. That means
Yeah.
it was over a day then for them to take it down.
So if it, I'm sorry, it's still up.
Oh.
They had it pinned, but they unpinned it, but it's still up. It's just to stick the basketball crew back out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was just
As
looking for a reason. Right. They're looking for a reason to criticize. And I'm sure for him, he's been very outspoken for many, many years. And so I don't think he is necessarily afraid of backlash or afraid of, sponsorships pulling out or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I think for him, it was just, I think he understands how much his word carries and how people look to him for, maybe how to feel. And we can have a separate discussion about whether people should be doing that in the first place, but that's a different discussion.
Yeah.
So I think maybe he looked at it as, he's essentially a role model. People follow his lead. And so he didn't want to come off, he didn't want to steer the attention in the wrong way, particularly if the information that he had was not accurate or just not complete at that time. So I understand why he took it down, because, that's a narrative that people can point at, and, it's just unnecessary noise around him. So I can understand it. But I'm petty, so I would let that shit up. Because I feel the way I feel. I tweeted because I felt the way I felt. Like Thomas said, you can change your opinion once you get more information. Yeah. But at that time, this is what I felt. And so I tweeted it. So the Raiders felt that it was appropriate to say "I can breathe" the day that Shovel got convicted. They acknowledged the fact that people, were not happy with it. And they still said, "I don't give a damn. I'm leaving it up because
it was the owner
about it." Right.
The owner had them post that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So despite knowing that people were not happy with it, despite people saying it was tone deaf and inappropriate, you doubled down and said, "I know what I meant when I said it, so I'm leaving it up." LeBron could have done the same thing. So I would have left it up, but I understand why he took it down. So I hope there's not any sort of backlash about, well, why didn't you, are you, trying to censor yourself or whatever? No, it's just,
it is what it is.
Yeah. So he's grown. He can do whatever the hell he wants with his Twitter account. So I don't see an issue with it. I just think it's just people, like I said, from the stick to sports, shut up and dribble society that found some ammo and want to use it against them, but it ain't gonna work. I mean, we are just not gonna watch Space Jam. I mean, who cares?
Yeah. Relle, what you got?
My thing is, like Jay says, it's that crowd, that shut up and dribble crowd, stick to sports crowd. And it's like they've been kind of on LeBron's case ever since the whole China incident, him not speaking out enough about the China incident or whatever. And it's like, it's starting to get old after a while, man, because y'all really starting to show y'all true colors. We know what y'all are. it ain't got nothing to do with you really wanting sports just to be the focal point here. It's just that you don't want us to speak out on the things that are happening to us in this country. Let's just go ahead and call it what it is. You know what I mean? And they try to use those type of things as excuses to shut us up. And so when somebody as powerful as LeBron are speaking out, they don't like it. So they try to nitpick every little thing that he does. Mm-hmm. And like we just said a minute ago, on hindsight, we've seen this situation happen a gajillion times. So we're all thinking the same thing. Okay, another cop killed an unarmed black person. That's where our first mind goes. And like you said, like Thomas said, when the first initial reaction was you see the people crying and say, oh, the cop killed her or whatever. Yeah, your mind goes to another cop. Like you said, we didn't look at the case, but we pretty much know what's going to happen in this case. Like, okay, it's a black cop, white cop that kills another black person. It happens all the time. So nobody even went and said, okay, let me see what happened in this case. But we already kind of summed it up already. And so for LeBron to go out there and tweet that, that's understandable, you know. And so for him to be a bigger man and go back and say, hey, look, I didn't have a full case or full understanding of what happened in that case. For me, I didn't. Until, like I said, Thomas explained it to me. Because my mind went to, okay, another white cop killing another black person. So for LeBron to do that, I understand where he's coming from. But at the same time, LeBron was mature enough to go back and say, okay, let me take my tweet down and let me explain where I was coming from. But like Jay said, that crowd don't want to hear that. They're going to continue to keep nitpicking every little thing to make excuses to hide their true feelings of how they feel about us in this country by saying, oh, just shut up and dribble. Oh, well, why you didn't say this about this or say this about that? You know what I mean? Like, you're not saying that because you care about that situation that you're talking about. You're saying that because you don't care about the situation that LeBron's talking about. And so for them to like I said, you know, and then on top of that, them not liking LeBron anyway because of the whole what happened back in 2010, all that culminates to why they're doing that to LeBron, man. And so LeBron being the most famous athlete right now on the planet and being the most outspoken, he's gonna get this type of backlash, man, from that crowd. So this is nothing new. You know what I mean? It's going to continue to keep happening as long as he's in the forefront and in the spotlight. And I think, Jay, you said something earlier about the time about like boycotting Space Jam. You think LeBron cared?
Right.
You think LeBron cared? I'm guaranteeing LeBron got paid upfront.
He already got his money.
So you're not going to hurt him. You know what I mean? He's not going to win an Oscar for that movie. So you boycotting it, trust me. I'm guaranteeing all of us here are going to go see the movie. So he's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's not a big deal. But yeah, as far as him taking down the tweet or keeping the tweet up, it really don't matter to me, man. You know what I mean? I like the fact that he's mature enough to understand that, look, I was wrong. I didn't have the full facts. But also I understand where he was coming from because as a black person, you see this happen all the time. So I can understand where he was coming from. But they don't. You know how that goes. That'd be a subject for a whole nother video, man. You know,
I definitely would have liked for him to keep it up. That's part of why Jamel Hill, she keeps her tweets up. Good, bad, indifferent. She keeps them up, and that's part of why I enjoy following her. Is that part? She's petty with it.
One more thing too about that, like he's not the only person who takes their tweets down when something like that happens either. It makes it sound like he was the only person that ever tweeted something, he want to retract it or whatever, he took it down. He's not the only person who's done that. It makes it sound like he's the only person. Now I'm not saying that like Jamel Hill. That's cool. She keeps us up, but a lot of people take her tweets down when they messed up.
For sure.
So
that's
excuse
me. And she let people know about like new information and stuff like that. So she's just not like keeping them up and not talking about it. She'll still talk about like new information. And that's the thing is like we have to allow for people to receive new information and to change their thinking.
Be human?
Basically, let them be human. Right. But I know a lot of white people like Clay Travis. They don't like it when Black Americans start acting like humans. So we keep moving it forward. So we have this past week. This past week, it's been. Actually, this weekend, it's been some good basketball. Not even gonna lie. So we have let's go into so we being from Dallas. We have this past week. We have Lakers being in Dallas. Got to go to the game on Thursday, and then also had this game on this past Saturday as well to help Dallas. To move into the 6th spot. So So far, they're game and a half ahead of Portland in that sixth spot. They are, I think it's a half a game ahead of. So you have Portland at 7, Dallas a game and a half ahead of them. You have uh, LA, the Lakers a game and a half ahead of Dallas, and then you have Memphis half a game behind Portland for that seventh spot. So it's coming down. It's getting pretty crazy down this stretch. Getting interesting. Which I think going to happen. So you got about a few games left in April. Then you got right around about 10 games left in May. How y'all think this going to shake down, Thomas? What you think going to happen?
Say, Lakers technically, if I think just say the next 10 games. So I think they got out of the Lakers and the Mavericks. The Lakers probably got the hardest schedule. I think maybe. Basically,
that's
right?
kind of easy.
Yeah, we
got
it
easy
after the
in the next. Say the next, the next 10 games, Dallas got it easier than the Lakers, right? Now I know that Anthony Davis trying to come back, whatever. He said they got to win the next two. Basically, the only people that they should lose, I think they got like the Clippers. It's like two other teams. The Phoenix, they can lose like two of them, but they can't lose. They can't really go 5-5. You know what I'm saying? Us Mavericks, we really can't go 5-5. We only got like 2 hard games. We should literally go like 8-2, 7-3 type of thing. Because we got like Sacramento back to back. I mean, 2 times. And we got the Cavaliers 2 times. Like we should knock these boys off. I don't care if we go down to overtime. We knock them boys off. You know what I'm saying? We knock them boys off. I don't care about DeAndre Fox. I don't care. We knock these boys down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we playing good basketball. My only thing, like I've always said in the other show, KP have no idea. His health is killing me. His health kills me. His health kills me. It kills me. And
how you feel about his health, Tom?
It kills me, dog. It kills me. You know what I'm saying? It drives me crazy that he just can't stay healthy. Don't get your hand. He can't do anything. You know what I'm saying? He just not whatever it is. But we got a good team. I think, like I say, if we go 7-3, the Lakers can't go 500. They really can't, because if they do and Portland kick off and then we kick off, them boys they gonna be in the play-in tournament.
They gotta play Steph.
Going against Steph.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, y'all go ahead and deal with him. I want to deal with him.
You know what I'm saying?
Good luck.
You know what
I
I'm
want to
saying?
say house for a week in the club.
They need Andre Drummond, and they need Anthony Davis to do what they do. I know Anthony came back last game, they lost whatever, but and this is, I'm just telling you the truth. I know whatever it is, right? If the Lakers don't have Chris Paul, they should have kept Rondo, because they have nobody who can feed this ball. Without LeBron, I don't think they have a passer.
I agree.
That's not Dennis Schroeder. That's not his thing. So that's why. Think about Drummond. Drummond should be getting the ball, turn around, dunking, 15 rebounds, 20, 15. Especially without Anthony Davis, LeBron there, he should be like 25 and 15. He was doing that in the Cavaliers. You know what I'm saying? In Pistons, he would give me 25, 15, and 4 blocks.
Yeah,
walk on the court with it.
You know what I'm saying? So you don't have no passer. That's not what it is. And so I don't think without LeBron there, we don't have a facilitator, a real true facilitator. But you know what I'm saying? Dallas, we gotta go 72. That's for me. We go 7-2, 7-3. We take the number 5.
Yeah.
We take the number 5.
It's right there.
We got a good chance. It's right there. Yeah.
Jay, what you think?
I just don't want to play in a playing game. That's all.
Yeah,
as long as we can avoid that, I'm cool. And to kind of piggyback off what Tom was saying about KP, like, you know, he put on weight in the offseason and then didn't like the way he felt. So he lost it again.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously something's got to give, and the fact that he's here with Casey Smith and they can't figure out a way to keep him healthy consistently, with Casey Smith like one of the best trainers in the league, then you know,
not one of.
Yeah. So the fact that they can't get him some sort of consistent run where he's not tweaking the ankle or he's not, spraining his wrist for 3 days and then back in the lineup after missing one game or whatever. Like it is what it is. Like he's just not, he's not number 2, but he's getting paid like a number 1.
Yeah.
So that contract is going to be hard to get rid of. So, but that's a separate discussion. As far as them this year, or as far as at least the stretch run for the regular season goes, I don't know what to say because they're inconsistent as hell. Like they just you never know from one game to the next what team you're gonna see. Dwight Powell just scored 26 points.
Yeah, 25 and 9.
I thought it was
25 and 9.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
So it's it's hard to look at what you should expect or what you want to see when you don't know which team's going to show up from game to game. But I do appreciate the fact that they're kind of in control of that 6th spot for the first time in a while. And I don't know if they're going to overtake the Lakers, but they have the opportunity to do it. Yeah. And that's all you need really, or that's all you can ask for is opportunity to do it. Can they go out there and execute? That's the question. We'll see how it goes. They got a lot of sub 500 teams the rest of the way, which you would think sounds like a good idea, but they think it gets sub 500 teams for some reason. So who knows what you're going to get. But I think if you looked at it based on how much time people lost because of COVID and random injuries throughout the season, if you looked at it and somebody asked you at the beginning of the season that you got to the 6th spot with 13 games left and a game and a half chance to catch up to 5th, I think you take that considering the fact that our lineup has been up and down because of, like I said, COVID and injuries and all that type of stuff. So to be in the position to make a push to get potentially to the 5th, because we're not getting 4, but potentially get to 5th, I think you take that. So hopefully, these guys have been more consistent. Real quick side note, they need to try to figure out how to keep JJ Redick, but that's a separate discussion.
Yeah.
It's the way you can already tell, like, he moves the ball like
that 3 he hit last night. That 3
not only that, but just like he
out.
understands like, and I've never really watched him like this close up, because I didn't watch when he was in Orlando. I didn't give a damn Orlando, and he was in, wherever he was at, I didn't really care. I knew he was a shooter, and that's all I already knew. But you can see he does a lot more than that in terms of understanding where people are supposed to be, and like I didn't know he was as good of a facilitator as he is. Not saying that he's a top facilitator, but he can see certain things happening before they happen, and I can appreciate that because I didn't know he had that in his game. I just don't know if he's going to use enough for him to want to come back, but I hope that they find a way to talk him into it, because I think him having that veteran leadership that we do not have would be beneficial for Luka and for like JB and those guys that are younger. I think that having that would be really good and beneficial for them in the long run. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. We're in a good spot, so not much to complain about, but just hope they can see their way through it and get in a good spot to be able to have some sort of success in the playoffs. Because if they stay in 7th and Steph stay in 10, I don't want no parts of that playoff. No parts of that playoff.
Hey, Relle.
Damn, man, shooting.
Before you go, hey, let me ask y'all a question. Did not JJ Redick play for the Bucks? That's who drafted him, right? Was it the Bucks?
He got
he got drafted by
Orlando, right?
Yeah.
When Orlando? Yeah.
He was with the Bucks.
Unless they traded him early.
Yeah. I think I put up like half a
season. Look it up for me real fast, and I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say.
I was so during last night's game, it was going down the stretch, and I was telling my wife, was like, they said the Lakers went into a zone. It's like, I'm just gonna wait for JJ to bust that zone, and then he hit that 3 on them to boost him. It was right before that Luka 3. That's like, and there it is right there. It's like,
but that play he made to where he pump faked and then Collie style and that cut. Oh my God.
Yeah. And he got into Collie before he even got to the spot. Like
he led him to the spot.
He like the ball was going as he was turning, and he just like
he was right there in the red basket. It was like,
bro. I told y'all when we picked him up, I said, bro, he's gonna be a huge hitter, bro.
Yeah.
So Tom, he did get drafted by Orlando, but he did play for Milwaukee also. So he played for Milwaukee.
So
he went from Orlando to Milwaukee.
Right. So that's what I'm about to say. In Orlando, the reason this is how I feel because if I go from Orlando to Milwaukee, then to I think he played with the Clippers next or whatever.
Clippers.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't think of the Orlando coach. Might be Stan Van Gundy.
It was Stan.
Stan Van Gundy didn't like him, right? And so the time that he got on the court, he had to be something else. He couldn't just be a shooter. Yeah, talk about he couldn't. He had to play. So I had to be a facilitator. I had to do this. I had to play a little bit of defense. I had to do this just to get on the court because Stan didn't like him. And then he translate that. He go to Milwaukee a little bit, boom, we get that. But then he go play, and me, this is just me. He go play with CP3, right? That's my dog. He go play. And then think about even when he playing with CP3, it was times that he shared the court with Jamal Crawford, right? And we understand both of them like to shoot. They like to do the same thing. So he had to cut. He had to shoot. He sometimes, even though Jamal was on the court, he had to be the point guard. He had to do all this stuff. So he found a way, just besides his shooting, to affect the game. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And so that Jay, if you could keep Jay, you know what I'm saying? I know he our age, but in basketball terms, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if you could keep him, you know what I'm saying? Because a little bit, I'll just say a little bit in LA, he played a little bit defense, but he had a couple steals, stuff like that. But if you could just keep him come off the bench, shoot, man, we'll be straight. We'll be straight.
I love it, man.
That'd be fantastic. Relle, what you got?
Man, I just want to know what's going on with Portland, bro. Anybody know what's going on with Portland? No, I'm not saying I care. I just want to know what's going on. Like, they might get until at least 5 games left in the season, bro. Because I just saw, I think it was a comment on Bleacher Report from Dane. He's kind of like blaming himself and stuff on what's going on. But, I kind of held hope that we would eventually kind of get out that little slump we were in to the point that we can kind of move up. But I didn't know it would be like this to where we're like, now we're solely secure in 6. I kind of thought it would be back and forth all the way up until maybe like the last couple of games of the season or whatever. But now we're solely secure in 6 and also now have a chance to catch the Lakers. And like Thomas said, I think we had the easiest scale, like top 3 easiest schedule after the All-Star break anyway.
Right.
Now,
right.
Also too, this right here also kind of made me mad because like y'all Jay was saying, we lost to people like the Sacramento Kings and whoever lost. Houston. Like, come on, bro. If we had a won against those guys, we would have caught the Lakers already. You know what I'm saying? Those are the games you have to win. And I think it was you, Josh, that sent us a tweet about the record of against above 500 and against sub 500. And it's like, really?
It's the most maverick thing ever.
And on KC Masterpiece on the fan, they had Mark Cuban on there. He talked about that. He said it kind of reminded him in the earlier years of Dirk, Nash, and Finley, where they got up for the Lakers and Spurs and all them, but then you play, whoever bad at the time can't remember right now. You play them, and it's like, you just think, okay, we just show up.
But that's where you build your schedule up right there. You gotta win those games.
Exactly. Right. And I thought after last year, they did that same thing last year, y'all remember. So I thought this year, with another year under their belt, they have an understanding, okay, listen, we play Sacramento, we gotta beat them every time we play them, or whoever else is, trash in the league or whatever. You get those teams, like you guys just said, you build up with those teams. That way you can catch the Lakers. That way, if you lose to the Lakers one time, it's not going to hurt you as much because you can have them 5 wins against the G League team.
Trash.
Exactly, against trash. You know what I'm saying? So
trash.
You got to take advantage of that, man. And if they had taken advantage of that, we'd be upright. Well, if half a game at least behind the Lakers right now. You know what I mean? And with them struggling right there, I think the Lakers lost 3 in a row. The Blazers lost 5.
Yeah. So
those two are between both of those guys right now. Mm-hmm. And if the Blazers don't step up, man, they're going to end up losing to the Grizzlies. Because the Grizzlies only half a game behind them.
Yeah.
So and the Grizzlies kind of catching fire a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so
But I'd rather be 8th. I'd rather be 8th than 7th.
Yeah.
So if I gotta fall to 8 and play San Antonio, is San Antonio who's 9?
Yep.
I'm cool with that. I'd rather play them than Golden State. So 8 may be the spot to.
Man, you know what? Who do y'all want to play if I had to choose? Who y'all rather play in the first round? Because who's number 4? Y'all rather play?
Now you talk Denver. Let me go ahead and match up with Denver. Oh yeah, I'll match up with. Oh yeah, Dallas can match up with Denver, especially no Murray.
Yeah, no
No
Murray.
Murray on the court. Yeah. You don't want.
Okay.
So you rather have the Clippers instead of Denver?
What?
I rather
You
have
don't want the
Utah.
Clippers.
I rather have
But
Utah.
Utah
I'm talking
number
about
one.
if we
Utah
either
number
get the
one, so
6th or
you
the
have
5th
to go
seed,
into
who would you rather have?
For you to play
Clippers or
Utah,
Utah?
you have to do the play-in game.
The question was, who would I want to face? And my answer is Utah. I don't want to face Denver. I don't want to face. I guess maybe Phoenix. Maybe if I had to pick, but if you say 5 or 6,
Yeah, it's either
it's going to be either it's either going to be a Lakers. It's either going to be.
No, I'm talking about if you say we get to 5, Lakers gonna slide down. So it means you're either gonna play Denver or you're gonna play the Clippers.
4.
Yeah.
So out of
if it's those two, I'd rather play Denver, obviously, than the Clippers.
Denver.
If those are my only two options, then yeah. But
I
don't want to play Denver. I don't.
No, I don't want to play them either. It's those are 2 choices. Because look like
that's what I'm saying. I'm with you. Yeah. I'm just saying if those are 2 choices, I would pick Denver, but I would not want to play them only because I know they don't have Jamal Murray, but Porter being on a tear and Joker obviously the MVP, and I don't know, people don't talk about it, but that Aaron Gordon that may be put them over the top.
That's why I was gonna say I'd rather, to tell y'all the truth, I'm not scared of the Clippers, bro. Not because of what happened last year. I'm just not scared of them, bro. I feel like we can match up with the Clippers this year. Well, actually, I don't know because KP gonna be out.
I don't think.
Yeah.
They're gonna be out.
You know what I'm saying? It's they've been quietly really fucking good this year. But I think not having that pressure on them has made them more confident and kind of able.
What's their record? What's their record since Rondo then came to that team?
Oh, that's also true.
Listen, y'all understand? I get his dude. I give credit.
I hate him.
But he's a difference maker. He's a
difference maker. And they already technically had 2 point guards in Reggie Jackson and Patrick Beverly. But Rondo come to that team, take those minutes, and it's something about when Rondo is on your team. Rondo make you, he make you. I don't, you know what I'm saying? It's
and
something about
pressure situations when you have a high pressure situation. Do you want I wouldn't let Reggie Jackson, running a point in my high pressure situation, and then Patrick Beverly going to pull a hamstring, so you can't depend on him to be healthy.
Well, we saw the high pressure situation in the bubble. Reggie got a 3 put on his forehead.
Exactly. So
Patrick Beverly set out the rest of the series.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly.
So
he's
a game. I don't want to see them. But Relle, to answer your question, if I had to pick between the Clippers and Denver, I'll pick Denver, but I wouldn't be excited about it.
Because I think it would go 7 though.
Oh, no way.
You don't think so?
Not with this team. Not the way Mavericks.
Yeah.
I think Denver too big for us. Denver will kill us, man.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
KP will go get hurt in the first game.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
It's gonna be Joker. It's gonna be Joker. It's gonna be Aaron Gordon. It's gonna be Porter. It's gonna be Paul Millsap.
Taking turns.
Paul Millsap gonna give you a hot 15 and 8. You're gonna know where it came from. You're like, God, it's gonna be all in the third quarter too.
What do you think?
In the third quarter, he won't even play the fourth quarter. It's gonna be all the third quarter. He won't even play the fourth quarter. It's gonna be bananas. They go put that
I want no parts to play in Denver. No parts.
It'll be interesting. So the only thing, so for me, I think why I think it will end up pushing out 7 is because of how our big man played. Between you have Powell and Willie, the way that they played against Drummond, because Drummond's actually a good rebounder and then also decent on defense, and they were able to move around and get some baskets. So you tell him. So, well, I mean, but when it comes to Powell,
did you see what Powell did?
Yeah, the fake pass and then dribbled
and he froze, and he just you about to score. I don't know if Drummond's been, on the all defensive team all his career.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I
haven't heard anything about all defense.
No, he hasn't.
But that's the main thing that I wanted him for was rebounding.
That's why when y'all was saying Drummond, I was like,
Yeah, I just want to rebound it, get that big body in the center, and get grab us some
But
boards.
to your point, though, what you're saying is, hey, I wanted to get Jordan because of a big man that can get rebounds. But on the opposite, you're also saying that I trust our big men going up against Denver, and I don't. Like, if we gotta trust Dwight Powell in a 7-game series, we're in trouble already before the ball even gets tapped. 25 points last game or not, like if we gotta trust him to be an anchor, we in trouble, Jack.
Well, that's real. That's real.
But that's our podcast about what we gotta do in offseason. That's a separate episode.
Listen, I told y'all the Mavericks should have got Hassan Whiteside for the cheap. I'm telling y'all. I think this dude is trash. I don't know why he signed with Sacramento, but he for Portland last year, he was coming off the bench, averaging a double-double, leading the league in blocks off the bench. So I think the team just had lost faith in him, but he was still doing what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? This for me, he's still doing what he's doing. He's not making $30 million a season no more, but he's still doing what he was doing. But that for me, that would have been a big body that we could have used. Just for me, this is my opinion. I only been right about Rondo and Chris Paul and stuff, so don't worry about it.
You're a point guard. You're a point guard. You got a point guard eye.
You know what I'm saying? That's it.
So you say the point guard whisperer.
You know what I'm saying? and look, I said the same thing. Seth Curry doing his thing up in the 76ers too. So I thought we should have kept him, but I just said the same thing.
With Seth, from what I understand, Seth and Rich actually averaging the same, but Rich actually plays defense. So I think that balances out. You got a guy that plays defense and still averages what Seth's been. And
it turned out well because now you got the defensive guy we needed, and then we got another guy who shoots just like Seth and JJ Redick. So
it took half the season to get him.
Yeah.
It did.
And then you got Dodo. Dodo's up to like 39% shooting, especially since the baby been born. Since baby boy, he's been shooting lights out.
Bro, we need
for him.
We need like 5 Dodos.
No, you shoot one.
Huh?
No, I'm saying we need like 5 Dodos.
Yeah.
4 more of them, bro. We need.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. No shade to Dodo. I know we got to wrap up soon, but if we say we need 5 Dodos, what is that?
It's a struggle. It's a struggle
from a roster perspective, right? Like, no shade to him. That's my guy. But if we saying we need 5 Dodos and we agree, then that's not good for playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Particularly looking at the teams we would have to play. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. And Lucas don't get so many technicals.
Yeah, man, you gotta chill.
That was a good game and a half where he wasn't complaining to the refs too much. But that last game, so that Saturday game against the Lakers, I get it. With the complaining, he was getting slapped up in the wrist.
Bro, what game? Which one was that? That was the first game he played the Lakers, bro. And he was kicking him in the
and he wasn't saying anything. He was.
Bro, where's the foul calls at, bro? Like,
he was just walking to the other end and was like, "Oh yeah, somebody talk to him. Somebody talk to him."
They gotta call something, bro. What's going on out here? He out here kung fu fighting out here, bro. Like, dang, call something. I'm just like tired looking down and folks curled up, bro. So we don't get no calls or what's going on, man? I heard Draymond Green folks out here.
He kicked himself in the nuts. That's what happened.
Yeah, Draymond Green. Draymond out here kicking people like he didn't do that.
Yeah.
Bro, come on, man. Gotta call something, bro.
But to go ahead end this, it's been a real talk dealing with the Chauvin trial, the consistent police killing of Black Americans, talking about LeBron. If he should have kept the tweet up, being petty, just standing it, but then also grow with the understanding of getting new information, and then the Mavs moving up to 6, holding it, or have a chance to move up. It's things getting interesting. So I hope you all.
Can I say something real quick before you wrap? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Like this. This message is for all the non-Black people. Stop saying that George Floyd sacrificed his life for.
Oh yes,
Yes.
I didn't even think about that.
Yes.
That's not what happened. That's not
He
what
didn't
happened.
go out there and say, you know what, I'm gonna die today for this cause.
Right.
Exactly.
He's not a martyr. He's not none of that. So please stop saying that. That's entirely definitely inappropriate. It's just not.
Yeah.
And even his girlfriend said that. And even I was like, you can't say that. I don't care what your relationship was with him. You can't say that. Just just understand that this was not a sacrifice. It was not something that he walked out on his heart and said, I'm gonna get killed for the betterment of black people. That's not what happened. So please stop saying that he sacrificed his life because he did not. It was taken from him. That's right.
No, you did, especially like Pelosi. Yeah, it was just craziness. Hey, give a shout out to appreciate Thomas coming through, joining the James Will show.
Appreciate
Got
it.
the brainchild, Relle out here with the Glow Star production. Got the other half of the Jay Will show. We got Jay. Make sure that y'all take the time to follow, leave comments, let us know what you think about the show, some things that you want us to talk about as well. Hey, holla at us.
Like, subscribe.
Like and subscribe.